Alright, hey everyone, this is Ash. Welcome back to the King's Speech. So it's finally time for the long-awaited return of a series I've personally wanted to get back to. I'm not sure how excited everyone else is, but we're going to be diving into Monstress Volume 4 today. It's absolutely one of my favorite series. It's just totally phenomenal. Can't say enough good things about it. If you haven't already, please do check out my other read-through reviews that I did on my channel. I created a separate playlist for Monstress already, but yeah, really looking forward to getting into this series. So without further ado, let's get into Monstress Volume 4, The Chosen. And we have story by Margie Liu and the illustrations and art by Sana Takeda. And we have Chapter 19, as we see years ago, and we see a baby Kippa just lying cutely in a crib, as gloved hands kind of resting on her crib, and someone says, "Little Kitsune, look how you glow. Your light is sweet enough to eat." And you see someone wearing like this fur-trimmed hooded jacket leaning over Kippa. And as the gloved hand touches down on Kippa's head, you see a light coming out of it, emanating from it. And they go, "Alas, I didn't come here for that." And you see Kippa's mother coming into the doorway. And she goes, "Goddess, get away from my..." And the stranger goes, "Be quiet. Before you say anything you might regret. Surely you are not so lowly that you cannot recognize what I am." And you see the mysterious stranger just exiting the room as Kippa's mother stands off to the side and goes, "Say nothing of this to anyone." And the mother goes, "Yes, of course." And then as she goes to grab up Kippa from the crib, she goes, "Isn't any place safe for us? If it isn't humans, it's our own kind." And you hear someone going, "That wasn't our kind." And Kippa's mother turns around, and you assume it's the father. And you see he's wearing some raggedy clothing. He's looking really disheveled. It looks like his legs have been cut off, and he's got bandages wrapped around the stumps. As the mother goes, "So you're awake, drunkard? And you did nothing? Said nothing?" The father goes, "How could I? I imagined it." And the mother goes, "No, you fool, it was an ancient anointing our daughter." The father goes, "An ancient, eh? When we tell the others in this blasted refugee camp, everyone will want a chance to be blessed by her. We might just make enough coin to get out of here." And the mother gets mad. She goes, "Have you lost your mind? You heard what they said. This is a secret, maybe a bad one. When was the last time an ancient helped anyone but themselves? That wasn't a blessing. It was a curse." And you see her looking down at the still smiling Kippa and goes, "God has saved you from your elders, Kippa. May you always find the light." And you see, "Steady now, no fast movements." As you see a poor, disheveled Kippa being carried in this cage on the back of this giant ogress on her giant bladed axe, looking really scared. And you see a scarred up tomcat behind her going, "If I start to lose my mind like these fuckers, you kill me. Don't wait." And you see another cat going, "Ain't seen a cat yet been affected by the old god's shadow." And you see some of the fox arcanics crying out, going, "Please, what?" You see some of the fox arcanics following along with the group, starting to cry and scream. The others are trying to comfort them, go, "Please wake up, listen to my voice. There's nothing here. It's over." And you hear, "Baba, stop screaming, Baba!" And you see the ogress going, "That language the language they're singing makes me feel like my skin is peeling off. Never heard anything like it." The cat goes, "Need to hurry. Screams are getting louder, like the others in the last valley right before." And you see a roar. One of the fox arcanics lunges towards them. And you see the fox flashing back as he goes, "Madness has taken them." And you see, "Fight!" It's like, "No, run. There's too many." So just a glimpse of... I'm going to try to show off the art in Monstress as much as I can through this read-through. Because again, it is just absolutely phenomenal. And you see the ogress and the cat just starting to slash around them as they go, "Fight or die, cat. Doctor didn't pay you to complain when the blood runs hot. The cat goes, you didn't pay me to be torn to pieces either. You see, rah! This kid was like, come back to yourself. As you see, one of the foxes bites her cage and rips off the bars. And he grabs her leg and pulls her out. She's going, no! The cat slashes him and goes, you can't have this one. And Kip was like, don't eat me, don't eat me, don't. And you see the ogress grabbing Kip and going, it's only me, Fox, stop fighting. And you see the other cat, or you see the cat looking back and going, Basti, have mercy. As you see the other cats just getting ripped apart and torn to shreds by the foxes. And you see Kippa kind of just, as she's starting, as weariness and exhaustion is taking over, she's going, miss, please hurry. And you see her eyes starting to glow. Ooh. And you see as Kippa's eyes are glowing, she sees all the foxes outlined as like cloudy darkness, and she sees the cat as like a red haze that's being ripped apart. And she goes, no, 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 God has saved me. And then you see the ogress going, hurry, I see the ruins. The cat goes, we won't make it. And you have Kippa looking back, seeing the fox going, run faster, run faster. The ogress is like, I don't want to die like shut up, both of you. And you see an aye, and a shunk as an arrow comes flying out and takes two foxes through the throat. And you see, damn, I am a good shot. As you see the rescuer coming, a little blue Oni coming to the rescue. And she goes, but did you have to bring so many of them with you, Dia? And the ogress calls back, just keep shooting, Yafiela. It's like, for fuck's sakes, hurry. And you see both the ogresses climbing the ladders, the cats standing guard. And Yafiela goes, all this trouble just for you? Pikes and halberds, I swear the doctor really is loco. And then you see, as the scenery switches back to Corvin and Micah, and you have, I'm back to you, back there. And Corvin goes, that a single breach could cause all this madness. I would not have believed it. Micah's narration continues, you called it hell. As she goes, believe it. And the narration continues, I always said I would kill myself if I ended up in that nightmare again. It was the only thing we agreed about in those first years. Ooh. And you see in the town below, you see the Arcanics are butchering the humans as they go, it's the humans' fault. They turned our families into monsters. Kill them. And you see, no, no, our children are friends. We've lived here with you our whole lives. And you have, but I don't want to die that much anymore. And you see them going, you used to serve the Kamehameha. We know the witches summoned the old god. You must have known it was coming. Confess. So that might make you happy. Might make you think I'm stronger now. I wonder if it just makes me weak. You have Maeve going, how could any human possibly summon a hideous one? We don't even worship them. You do. You even think they're made of love. Why are you killing us? And you see that as Corvin and Mike are riding on, Corvin goes, even in Pontus, under the facade of civility, most Arcanics hate humans for what they've done to us, for being in our blood. And now they have the opportunity to settle old scores. Micah goes, I hate humans, but I was once attacked by a human mob for being Arcanic. I don't wish that on anyone. And Corvin goes, I prefer dealing with the rabid souls we encounter on the road. We'll find another way around. And Micah's like, it'll take too long. And she turns her unicorn and starts riding off. As Corvin's like, Lady Half-Wolf, is the destroyer awake inside you? Is this why you're so bold? And Micah goes, it sleeps. You should do the same when Corvin going, you should do the same when we stop. You're still weak from what you did in Pontus. You don't need... And you see, human, there's another one! And then you see as Micah's going, I should glue a fucking tail to my ass. And you see Corvin charging it as he goes, stay back, we're Arcanics just like you. And one of them goes, you might be, but she's got enough human blood to be one of them. You have Micah calling out as as the humans or the arcanics are trying to grab the horse's leashes. She's going, I had enough arcanic blood to be a command slave, so fuck off. And Corvin goes, where are your senses? Can you not tell the difference between arcanic nobility and humans? And you have someone calling out, Defiler, die with the rest of them. And you have Micah going, go on all of you, rage. Madness just struck your friends and loved ones, and you probably had to kill them to survive, but none of you can deal with that, can you? You'd rather blame someone else instead of feeling your grief. You'd rather keep killing instead of remembering. You're murderers, but worse, you're cowards. And you see them taken aback by it for a bit before they get really angry and go, kill a human, skin her alive. And you see Micah just slashing out the swash. And she slashes out with this bladed claw she has. And you have, murderer, she's got no right to live. Like, tear her skin from her. And you see a bunch of arcanes just reaching up to her and trying to grab her off the horse. As Corvin comes to the rescue and slashes his axe down and goes, Goddess, may your light shine with love. Yeah, wherever you are, Tuya, I hope you're safe. And Micah's like, prayers, really? And forgive the fury that drives these people to murder, and the lives we take to defend ourselves. And you hear, this will stop you. As one of the arcanics slashes Micah's horse, and she's like, fuck. And she goes, I hope you're not scared. I hope you're not alone. I bought it on myself. I pulled a string that unraveled the world. Revenge, my mother, wasn't worth it. And Corvin goes, Micah goes, not even the Khmer worked this hard to kill me. And you see Corvin grabbing and pulling onto his horse as he takes off. And you see his halberd starting to fill with magic energies. Goes, they will not succeed. And when Micah continues, Goddess, I had a beautiful life with you, Tuya. And you see as Corvin's riding through the town, he's coming across a building, and he lashes out with the halberd and smashes through it as he rides by. So it starts collapsing on the forces chasing them. And as it comes crashing down, Micah's like, damn, Corvin. He goes, let us continue. And you see later that night, you see under a moon, a quarter circle moon, you see Micah thinking back to, the fat massacre that she witnessed. As she hears Micah, it's like, Micah. And she's dreaming, she goes, Tuya, no. And Corvin goes, Micah, wake up. And she wakes with a start. As she looks at Corvin and goes, you're bleeding. You're not going to turn mad, are you? And you see that under Corvin's half mask, you see blood starting to slowly trickle down his face. And Corvin kind of leaps down off the little cliff and goes, as Micah goes, hey. Corvin goes, I would like privacy. And Micah goes, I'd like my arm back, but we're both shit out of luck. If you're sick or wounded, I need to know. And she goes, well? And he goes, as you wish. And he takes off the half mask covering his face. And Micah goes, oh, you are Constantine. Ooh. And you see that under his mask, half his eye has been burnt away. As Corvin goes, I was far away. My sister's forces were retreating. I knew I had to hurry, but I turned to look at the city one last time. The darkness burned me. Micah kind of just puts a hand up to feel his scar. Corvin goes, I heard there were madness amongst some Constantine survivors too. The uncontrollable urge to kill and feed, the derangement. How did you stay alive after the devastation? You, just a child. Micah's like, I never said I was a Constantine. And Corvin goes, Lady Halfwolf, the Dusk Court has been watching you for a very long time. We know what happened in Constantine to you. No one knows, and Micah goes, no one knows what happened there. And as Corvin puts the mask back on, he goes, you do. And those who survived with you do. There were 8 of you. And then we see as the screen switches back to Kippa. Kippa's going, Miss, you said never wait for rescue. And you see Kippa just trying to bite at her ropes and set herself free. And the cat goes, "Stop that! You think we're stupid? I'll break your teeth first, and your legs," as he smacks her across the face. Yafiela goes, "What are you, mad? The doctor wants her in one piece and healthy. Remember that part of the order? With the doctor, any disobedience gets you a quick trip to dead, and I'm not dying today or tomorrow." The cat goes, "Fine, you're responsible. I'm going to scout ahead." And you see as Kippa's eyes start glowing again, when she's looking at Yafiela, she sees her silhouette, and she sees these blue butterflies flying around inside of her, and she sees like a darkened shadow as she's shaded in a red haze. And Yafiela goes, "Bolts and arrows, the fox's eyes are glowing again. Why are your eyes like that? Your gift is emerging, isn't it?" And Kippa goes, "Why are you kidnapping me? You're not slavers." Yafiela goes, "No way, I'm low, but not that low. We're taking you to our other arcanics. A lot of good that will do you." And you have the ogress going, "You're talking too much, Yafiela." What's the ogress's name? Give me a second. Dia. And Kippa asks, "Who's the doctor?" Yafiela goes, "When your eyes glowed, what did you see?" Kippa's like, "Tell me about the doctor first." Yafiela's like, "How about I hit you?" And Dia goes, Kippa goes, "You won't. Even if you were supposed to, the butterflies wouldn't let you." And Yafiela's silent for a moment. And then Kippa turns around to look at Dia and goes, "I have to pee and scat. I haven't gone since we started. It's not a trick." And Dia goes, "Same, fox. Don't take all the good leaves." Like, "Dia, hold on to her. And don't try to..." And you see... You see, as soon as Dia puts Kippa on the ground, she takes off running. Dia's like, "Fuck!" It's like, "Yafiela!" And you see Kippa running away through the woods. As Yafiela and Dia chase after her and go, "Fox, you're gonna kill yourself. The ruins are dangerous at night. We're close to..." And you see Kippa coming up to the edge of this like huge abyss. And Yafiela goes, "No, don't move!" And you see Kippa just stealing herself. And she goes like this and just jumps into the hole. And you see Dia and Yafiela at the top of the abyss going, "That is one crazy fox. Maybe she survived." It's like, "I know she did. It's like a 10-foot drop." And Dia goes, "Then we've still got a chance. The doctor isn't expecting us until dawn." And Yafiela goes, "Knives and daggers, don't you understand? The foxes went inside the tomb of Baru, the dead bear king. And you see the place is so cursed the mountain folk execute the very worst just by pushing them in. No one comes out. Ever." And you see as Kippa wakes up inside the abyss, you see her opening her eyes and they start glowing. And she goes, "Goddess!" And she sees something below. And you see archival research from the esteemed Professor Tam Tam, former first record keeper of the Ishami Temple and learned contemporary of Nimron Blackclaw. And you see Constantine, Pearl of the North, as we get to chapter 20. And then we see the wolf goddess along with the warden and Tuya as she's presiding over a marriage ceremony between the warlord of the East and Tuya. And you see Cat preceding the ceremony going, "When two people are one in their innermost hearts, they shatter even the strength of iron. When two people ally with each other in their innermost hearts, their vows are stronger than poems." Just love their pissed off faces. And you see the wolf queen going, wolf goddess going, "If there's peace to be in the world, there must be peace." And you see the warlord taking a drink from a goblet as she goes, "Father, mother, or faster, mother, if you please." And you see the wolf goddess continuing between hearts as Tuya is also taking a drink out of another goblet. You have, "And so seals the alliance between the dawn and the dusk, bound in blood and sacred oaths. The wolf goddess goes, may it endure until the end of the world. And you see both Tuya and the warlord sharing a kiss. And you see as Tuya's pulling away angrily, the warlord pulls her back in for another forceful kiss. And she goes, I may not want this marriage, but I bend the knee to it. And to you, my lady. We are wives now. Our fates are measured in the same breath. I will not fail you. And no matter your true purpose in wanting this marriage, you will not fail me. You can see Tuya just looking angrily at her. As you see Kippa looking at the ruins of this just wicked looking bear statue. And she goes, oh, how terrible, all these dead people. And she goes, a breeze? But that means there must be another way out. And she hears, Fox girl, come back here. And Kippa sees a light shining from above. It looks like Dia's making her way down into the tomb. And Kippa starts running off into one of the cracks and heads down some stairs. And she goes, I smell water. And the air is fresh. Except for that smell. And you see right above her, there's some kind of monster with this gigantic gaping mouth standing above her. And she goes, aye! And something grabs her. And you see Alfayala just kind of flying in with a knife. And she goes, let her go! This fox is mine! And she stabs it right in the shoulder. And the thing looks like it's one of the possessed monstrum. As it grabs Alfayala by the throat and goes, rah! It's like, not yours. It kind of just sends her flying. And it grabs Kippa again. And then Kippa grabs the knife that Alfayala dropped and goes, no, 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 no! And she slices off the thing's fingers. And then Alfayala goes, picks and axes, just die! She feels a blade with her magical energy. She slices into it. And you see the monster grabbing Alfayala with the other hand as it chokes both her and Kippa unconscious. And then drags them both away. And you see back in the port, you see Ren waking up as he goes, ugh, it's like, where? It's like, what? And then you see Vin going, good, you're awake. Come here a moment if you don't mind. And Ren's like, I don't have time to talk with you, Kippa. And Vin goes, the half-wolf has gone after the child. Neither of them need you. And Ren goes, you don't understand, I have to warn Micah. And you see Vin going, a little late for warnings, traitor. And Ren's like, no. And she goes, you dare deny it? She kind of grabs him by the face, and she slams to the ground and goes, I cannot divine your reasons, Necromancer, but I do know you betrayed the mandate of your goddess, and the heart of a child. And you have Ren going, does the half-wolf know? And Vin goes, you'll have to ask her yourself if you have the courage. Now be quiet, you still might be useful to me. And she kind of cups a hand to his face, and she goes, ah yes, your memory has been tampered with. Perhaps on the Isle of Bones after you encountered the blood fox. I know you were there with the half-wolf. And Ren's like, what are you talking about? The blood fox has been dead 2,000... And you see Vin just pointing a finger to her, or putting a finger to Ren's forehead, and you see his eyes starting to glow. I was like, no, stop. It's like, please, it's too much. And you see, oh, Basti. It's like, how could I have forgotten the Isle? The madness of that place. Why would you release those memories? You can't trust me with them. And Vin goes, I need them. I need everything the blood fox said to the half-wolf and what the blood fox discovered about the bodies of old gods. And you have Ren going, he discovered nothing. And Vin goes, don't lie. Days ago the half-wolf knew the bones of an old god would cut another old god. Even I did not know that. And Ren goes, perhaps the monster told her. And Vin goes, perhaps, but the blood fox was exiled to the corpse of a dead god for 2,000 years. He was too brilliant not to have learned something useful in all that time, and far more likely to boast of such things to the half-wolf. And you see Vin grabbing a knife and she stabs it into the table. And Ren goes, let's say you're right. The blood fox went mad because of that cursed place. And you, the rest of your kind, How would the ancients use that knowledge? Your disguise never once fooled me, my lady. I know fully what you are, if not who. And you see Vin's eyes are starting to glow red. And you see her transforming into this white goat. She goes, Alas, I've never been able to hide my true form from everyone, but I thank you for your discretion. And Ren goes, It's not up to me to decide when and how an ancient reveals herself, especially you. And Vin goes, A wise cat is a quiet cat. Is that not what your poets say? But for now, I need you to tell me what you know. And then perhaps you may venture into this new mad world to redeem yourself. And we'll switch back to Micah and Corvin, who are trailing Dai and Yafiela to get Kippa back. As Corvin goes, the Oni and Cat passed through here hours ago. Both terrified. I can no longer sense Kippa though. They could have begun carrying her again. Micah goes, Kippa might be dead. That could explain why they're so afraid. Because they failed. You have Corbin going, she could have escaped. And you see there's more blood trickling down from underneath his mask. As Micah goes, maybe. She's tough. And then she goes, why do you wear the mask, Corvin? Everyone has war wounds. You're not special. Corvin goes, perhaps I'm vain. And he goes, and you? Does that hurt? Or are you trying to summon the god? Your knuckles are white. You see Micah's just kind of subconsciously gripping her arm. As she goes, you were right. 8 of us staggered out of Constantine more dead than alive. Who was the snitch? Corvin goes, so you can kill them? And Micah goes, never. I just need to know. And then you have Corvin going, we call her the Baroness. And Micah's like, the same Baroness who tried to kidnap you all those months ago? You're saying I know her? I want a real name. Corvin's like, no. Micah grabs his hand and starts pulling him out of the saddle. And he goes, ugh! And she goes, still loyal to the Dust Court, huh? And Corvin goes, of course I'm loyal to them. They're my friends, my family. Loyalty is everything. It is honor. It is life. But when the Dust Court realizes I've spared you, the spirit of my loyalty won't matter. In their eyes, I will have broken faith. I will be condemned, a death sentence. So I owe you nothing, Half-Wolf, but maybe you owe me. For what you did that day in Constantine, for what you cost me then, and what you're costing me now. You have Corbin going, I'm defying everyone I care about, breaking my honor with them because I believe your power might be a greater good for us all. And I'm here helping you find a child that isn't mine because she means something to you. And I suspect there are few who could claim that dubious privilege. Micah goes, you'll regret it, Corvin, all of it. This power and me aren't good for anything but destruction. And Corvin kind of grimaces as he goes, but will you destroy for our sakes, Lady Half-Wolf? Or do you have no purpose at all? And you see back with Kippa as she slowly comes awake and goes, Master Ren, Miss. Goes cough, cough as she starts to wake up. It's like, thank you, Goddess, for not making me dead. And you see Raphael still knocked out, lying next to her. And you see they're in this spider-torn little cave area. And you see a sword stuck into a stone next to Kippa. And Kippa tries to pull it out. And as she does, she stumbles on this treasure chest. And she opens it up and goes, oh! And she sees all kinds of ancient technological things in there. And she opens up one of them and turns out to be a little torch that she lights up with a... it's like short... And you see short-lived beings and their inventions. I will never understand that desire to defy and overcome the limits of flesh. Such a primitive need for power. Now let me have a closer look at you, young trespasser. And you see back with Corvin as he goes, well, fuck, what now? Corbin goes, those are soldiers, not villagers. I don't recognize their uniforms. It's like, neither do I. And you see Micah Half-Wolf. We always meet under such trying circumstances. Micah's like, we know each other? And you see this shrouded hooded figure wearing like, I don't want to say a pirate hat, but like a highway robber's hat. As they start to unravel the scarf around their face and go, my dear, we're practically family. Micah's like, it can't be. And as they rip it off, you see Yvette's crazed face beneath it. As she goes, the blessed are not easily touched by death, Micah. You should know that better than most. And Micah goes, Yvette low limb, I should kill you. Yvette's like, yet again? You might grow tired of trying, Micah. Micah comes up and grabs her throat. She goes, let's find out. And you see a bunch of the masked warriors behind her surrounding them as they go, blood give us life, blood give us light, blood give us life, blood give us light. And they continue just chanting that as Yvette goes, the blood is power. Your mother fooled us all. And you see Corbin trying to make his way through to Micah as he goes, Micah, come to me, I sense. And Yvette goes, the mask was only a tool, not the key. It was you all along, hiding right beneath our noses. And you hear another voice going, and now I've found you, my beloved daughter. Oh boy. Oh, I love this. We finally meet the mysterious man from what I think was the very end of volume 2. And you see one of Yvette's cronies smacking Micah with it. Ah! You hear Corbin going, Micah! As he's trying to fight back. And you see her just losing consciousness as she gets knocked out on the ground. And you see an excerpt of a lecture from the esteemed Professor Tam Tam, foremost record keeper of the first Islamic temple and learned contemporary of Namran Blacklaw. And you see one of the most important archaeological discoveries in the period leading us to the Great War was unearthed by Moriko Half-Wolf. Until then, few knew of her outside the Dawn Court, where she was the favored daughter of the Queen of Wolves. The discovery of the painting turned the archaeological world upside down and created immediate schisms in the field of shaman empress studies. Understand, kids, prior to the painting's discovery, the shaman empress had only been depicted in formal postures, always in her sacred regalia, always in attitudes of power. But note here that she is not standing. She is kneeling or reclining, her hands outstretched against walls that appear to be closing in. Is she a captive, weakened, or as others have argued, given the title of the painting, is she holding something back with all her remaining strength? This is also the first visual representation of the Shaman Empress's legendary mask of power, a mask that the Analects claim was imbued with the power of all creation. It should be noted that Half-Wolf deciphered the painting's title herself, an incredible feat given the absurdly slippery nature of First Age demotics, and while oft-challenged, her translation still remains definitive to this day. The Empress against the Abyss. And you see the painting right there. As we go to chapter 21, and you see the Baroness and Tuya making love in bed. As you have, my apologies, Baroness. The need for secrecy meant my investigation of the mass grave took far longer than it should have. The dead were all in their early to late teens. Nothing in common except they were former Kumean slaves, and more importantly, survivors from the heart of the Constantine blast. According to our sources, the warlord kidnapped them because she thought they might have intelligence about the weapon that destroyed the city. But none of them talked. Either they knew nothing, or they were loyal to the death. The warlord had them killed so the necromancers could compel the truth from their souls. And you see Tuya sitting in what I assume is her office as can't remember the cat's name, but it's the one-eyed cat. This way he goes, what did she learn? He goes, it's little spy going, only that Moriko Halfwolf had a daughter, nothing else. And Tuya goes, the Queen of Wolves seems to know the full truth. I must assume the Warlord does as well, or that she'll eventually discover my specific connections. You have the cat going, the Warlord won't dare harm you. And Tuya goes, she'd dare. Her obsessions with Constantine and with her sister are legendary. It means I must work more quickly than I anticipated. The cat goes, she won't just give you the air fleet, Baroness. To her, you're a 19-year-old bride at best, a contract fulfilled, not a war commander. And Tuya goes, that will change. I know something about dealing with half-wolves after all. And you see Micah waking up in the dream world. And she goes, Zin, where are you? Like, you bastard, I need to talk with you. And she sees Zin's shadow kind of way out in front of her. She's chasing after it. And she goes, you're too far, I can't understand you. And you see Zin just kind of pointing up into the sky. As she goes, spit on you, Zin. What's that supposed to mean? And you see droplets of something falling onto Micah's shoulder. And she looks and goes, blood? But... And then she wakes up. As she's waking up, you see her immersed in a bath. And you see that someone's attached a mechanical arm to her. And next to wherever she's been laying, you see a bunch of bloody surgery tools. And you see a ching-crashing as Micah's mechanical arm kind of grabs on. And she goes, what have you done to me? And the father goes, my daughter should lack for nothing. Ours has always been a prosperous line. And you see Micah kind of just fiddling with the arm. She goes, I am not your daughter. And he grabs her and goes, no, you'll hurt yourself. Micah goes, fuck off, old man. And he goes, are you blind, daughter? We are family. And Micah goes, that eye on your chest doesn't mean shit. And he goes, it means I'm your father. We are blood, child. You are my blood. Micah kind of just rips her hand away from him. And she goes, and you drugged me, kidnapped me, altered my body. If you are my father, there are better ways to start a conversation. And he goes, my dear, in my limited experience, how parents exercise power over their children is the only conversation family ever truly has. Your mother would agree, I'm sure. She was quite the expert. And Micah goes, she's dead, murdered. The father goes, so I heard. Not the fate I expected for Moriko Halfwolf, but not surprising either. You have Micah going, Yvette Low Lim had something to do with her death. Did you know that? And yet she seems to be your guest. You expect me to trust anything you have to say? And you see him going off to the side as he starts to pour some tea. And he goes, if you feel aggrieved, kill the witch. She was useful in finding you. She was useful in other ways, but not more useful than your trust. And he goes, you'll find warmer clothes and shoes in the other room. You'll need them. And as Micah's following him into the other room, she goes, where's the Raven Lord? And her father goes, not here. He fled. Micah goes, maybe you killed him. And he goes, he escaped me, unfortunately. His shield saved him. He is, however, an agent of your enemies. No one would be the wiser if you showed him death rather than trust. As Micah's getting dressed, she clenches her hand and goes, you can mind your fucking business. The father goes, you sound like your mother. Micah's like, I hope so. He goes, perhaps you noticed I laid out some mementos of her. The photographs are quite dear to me. You were a happy child. It was rather infectious. And you see just some childhood photos of Micah with her father and him with her mother. And he goes into another room and reclines on a chair. And he goes, I'm not certain I cared for your mother, but I admired her greatly. Admiration, however, was not enough for me to desire a child. Ever. With anyone. Children do not just drain their mothers, you know. They also take from their fathers. In your case, you took what was mine. And you see some trays of food laid out. Micah picks up a spoon and starts eating. And she goes, the power? The old god? The blood wasn't awake in you. How would you know what you were missing? And the father goes, what makes you think the blood wasn't awake? Is that what you were told? No, child. The old god might not have emerged from my flesh, as I'm told it has yours, but I tasted its dreams. It was awake enough to give me strength. There are things you should know about yourself. Things only I can teach you. Micah's like, that's the oldest lie ever. The father goes, and yet, isn't that right, Micah? And Micah's like, you've been planning this for a long time. You took the fox child, didn't you? And he goes, of course I did. Micah's like, where is she? And he goes, she'll be here tomorrow, unharmed. And he starts stuffing down some more food. And he goes, and then you can stay or leave with her as you wish. You're no prisoner in this place, daughter. Micah's like, I guess we'll find out, won't we? On the next page you see, Goddess damned. I thought those red robes were another cult, but this is an army. And the father goes, just as the Kamea and their worship of Miriam form the backbone of the Federation military, dedication to the Shaman Empress fires the hearts of my guard. Belief in the divine is of great motivation in times of war. Sometimes the armies of the Dusk and Dawn courts lack. Something the armies of the Dusk and Dawn courts lack. And you see a bunch of soldiers as they're training going, blood give us light, give us life, blood give us light. You see just, again, phenomenal artwork. As you see Micah going, the Shaman Empress had power, but she wasn't divine, just smart. Maybe everyone else is so stupid, that counts for divinity now. And the father goes, you're entirely too cynical, daughter. Micah goes, am I? The witches create an empire out of a dead woman. What is this little army trying to accomplish? And she's in the courtyard below. The red robe soldiers are sparring with each other. The father goes, is survival not enough? A war is coming after all. The war is here. Micah's like, you should try harder not to laugh when you say that. And he goes, your travails have made you precipitation. And Micah's like, all my travails made me hate the taste of bullshit. Besides, my mother never was into the philanthropic types. Whose side are you on? He goes, mine and yours. You and I were marked as true descendants. We carry the lifeblood of the Shaman Empress. We embody all the possibilities of a resurrection. That is something I believe in. And as the poets say, war creates opportunities for wealth and power, and most importantly of all, change. Micah's like, so, you're like the rest of them. And he goes, I can assure you, daughter, there is no one on this world like me. The Dusk and Dawn courts are decaying. The ancients plot their own resurrection. The Arcanics pray for their survival. And the Kumea have been poisoned with the very demons they loathe. Humanity, of little consequence. When the coming war is finally decided, does anyone truly want to be ruled by these crepuscular dominions? I think not. Micah goes, and I suppose you want to be the one in charge? The self-appointed shaman emperor? And he goes, my dear, I already am in charge. It will just take time for lesser beings to grasp the truth. And you see an army of Arcanics with him, just, again, phenomenal designs. And you see him going, friends, the last of our war party has arrived. My blood daughter, the half-wolf. And you see some of the Arcanics whispering amongst themselves as they go, it's a loss not to have the brothers Imura here. They might be pirates, but they're private armada. I heard the doctor summoned them, but they refused. Rumor has it they've taken Pontus and are holding the city. With one of the Blood Queens dead, Theria could be next. And you hear, careful, the half-wolf is Sazi's goddess daughter. He wed her mother in secret. And you have one of the Arcanics looks like a black leopard, coming up behind her and goes, "If all you do is stand there, half-wolf, the others will get the wrong idea. We've all heard dreadful stories about you. Do try to live up to them." Micah kind of just angrily turns to him and he goes, "Ah, finally a reaction. Lord Doctor, perhaps you'd be so kind as to formally introduce your daughter to each of your war masters?" And Micah turns around and goes, "I don't need an introduction, War Master. I recognize all of you. You are Agata Tong Nama, also called a duelist for being unbeaten at pistol and blade. The greatest swordswoman of her generation, you and your personal guard single-handedly held off Federation soldiers at Notch Hollow while your surviving troops retreated. Arcanic gift, none." You see a woman with... I'll show the pictures later because my descriptions will not do it justice. And you see Elijah Grimm, captain of the Grey Legion, an elite unit that served under the Warlord. You were at the forefront of every major engagement in the Great War and even managed to escape the destruction of Constantine with the majority of your forces intact. Arcanic gift, power of anticipation. And unless I'm mistaken, you're Sentius Poe, the so-called Lion of Lucasus, Keel commander of the Typhoon Armada, Pirate Scourge, and former admiral of the Dawn Court. You command the largest independent sky fleet in the known world. Arcanic gift, iron skin. And Micah's like, "I could go on?" And her father goes, "Oh, no need. You're a study, daughter." So you see all three of the Arcanic warlords. And you see everyone here is arguably among the most feared and formidable war masters in the known world. Between them span nearly all the victories of the Great War. They certainly each have weaknesses, but if you wish to assemble a cabal of conquerors, you'd be hard-pressed to do better. The only unfamiliar face is yours. And you see her looking at a seahorse one, and he goes, "I am Valan, merely a representative of the Sea Ancients. Fresh from the Wave Court, my role is to observe and report. The Sea Ancients must decide who to ally themselves with, if anyone." And her father goes, "Staying out of the last war did not serve your ancients as well as they thought. We are the Blood Court, daughter, a force of reckoning the likes of which has never been witnessed. And now that you're here, we can begin to finalize who will be the first to fall in the coming war." And you have Centenius going, "We're missing the Beast Lord, Doctor. Shouldn't we wait?" And he goes, "I've dispatched her on a mission vital to our interests. She knows the planning will move ahead with her blessing." And he goes, "One other will be joining us, however. Someone you know well, daughter. My loyal servant." And you see... the necromancer Ren Mormorian, and you see a picture of baby Micah who is being bottle fed by Ren. And you see back in the dream world, Zin is looking to one of the destroyed robot androids from the last volume. As it goes, "First destroyer. I saw with my own sensors. If only I'd severed you completely from the sacred vessel. Redeem your treachery. Bring back the Shaman Empress." And Zin goes, "It is nonsense. The servitor was lying. I've committed great sins in my life. I have broken that which was sacred." And you see a baby Micah behind him as she comes out to the front and digs up her doll from the dirt. And Zin continues, "But I could not have betrayed the beloved. You know that, surely." And you see, when I finally met my mother, she said something similar to me. And you see the Shaman Empress picking up the baby Micah and going, "I forgave her for her lie. I forgave her for believing her lie. Desperation compels even the kindest souls to walk outside their skins and forget all they hold dear. There's only one true safeguard against that madness, but it is fragile and rare and cannot be known until it is needed. And even then, its use may not be the wisest course. And Zin goes, I would never be so desperate as to hurt you, beloved. And she goes, oh Zin, you have not slept these thousands of years simply because you are tired. As we go on to, I'm not going to go through the research stuff, we'll go straight to chapter 22. I'm going to probably run through the entire volume today. And you see Yaphaela going, get away from us, brother fuckers. Get the fuck back or I'll chop your fucking heads off. And then shit on you. And you see more of the monstrum-looking hounds surrounding them. So Yaphaela's like, I'm so dead. Kippa's like, no, you're not. It's like, oh goddess, I should have studied at the Calligraphy Academy. I was so good with a brush, the best in a generation. That's what my master said. I even won a Gold Cloth 100 Poets Festival. Kippa's like, so why don't you go back? She's like, why? Because I'm even better at hunting people. I'm so dead. Supposed to deliver you by now. And Kippa's like, you might as well tell me why I was taken. And you have Yaphaela going, spears and daggers, you think I know? The doctor says, get, I get. You don't ask questions of him. Not unless you want to end up with a lot of pieces. Just my luck. I'm going to die on enough treasure to pay for a new life. Ancient gold, ancient inventions. And Kippa's like, all of it belongs to the creature I saw. I think it was a Dracul. And Yaphaela's like, Dracul? Those are make-believe. Kippa's like, this one seemed real. I wish I'd seen more of it though. I think it might have been beautiful. Yaphaela's like, what is wrong with you? Are you too stupid to be afraid? And Kippa's like, no, this just isn't that bad. And she looks so confident. And you hear one of the ancients, what looks like Jinn, speaking from behind her as it goes, it is certainly far worse for me having strange short-lived beings in my home who stink of death. And you see Yaphaela looking back, she sees one of the monstrums and go, oh, fuck. Kippa's like, oh, you are a Dracul, aren't you? Monstrum goes, I do not know all the names you tiny creatures have given my magnificent race. Dracul? Perhaps. I am flattered we might be remembered enough to have names. And Kippa's like, the poets remember. But the Dracul I've heard about are supposed to be peaceful. God is blessed. They don't kill. And he goes, my kind strive not to kill. Violence is the first impulse of the wounded and the uninspired. And we, Dracul, are neither. Yaphaela's like, goddess. And you see the monster hounds going, need new bodies. And he goes, no, my sentinels' hands to yourselves, please. And he goes, pay no mind to my decaying friends. They are nothing more than lost creatures. They will do you no harm unless you require it. Kippa's like, they look familiar to me, like the old gods, but smaller. Yaphaela's like, Fox girl, shut up. And you see the Draculs slowly wrap itself in a loop around them. And it goes, the only gods I worship look nothing like these sentinels. Thank the stars. You must be referring to their tedious, vainglorious progenitors who kept them as slaves. And you see Yaphaela just going, ha, ha, ha. As the Draculs just start slowly encircling them closer and closer. And you have Kippa going, don't hurt her. She's not bad deep down. Yaphaela's like, don't hurt her? And it goes, in my experience, the almost good are nearly always as malign as the all evil. And Yaphaela's like, stop pretending you understand that thing. Kippa's like, I'm not pretending. Can't you understand her? He's like, you're crazy. So the Dracula continues, do not fret over your delicious-smelling friend's confusion. No simple mortal can understand my extraordinary mellifluous tongue, and in fairness, few ancients can either. And Kippa's like, but I'm just a fox. And she goes, a fox mortal and more. And you see, off to the side, the cronies are trying to drag off Yaphaela as she's going, let go! And Kippa's like, Lady Dracul. And she goes, calm yourself, short-lived being. She will not be harmed yet. Come, you speak our tongue, but are you wise enough to know our lore? Kippa's like, I don't think so. And Lady Dracul goes, then allow me to dilate. We, the greatest beings on the sphere, are in fact not of this sphere, just as those you call the old gods are strangers here as well. We are kin, however, very distant, but song siblings nevertheless. The most enlightened of my kind came here before the rest. We were the primal sphere swingers and traveled between the stars to all the known worlds. Glorious days full of wonder, but the ways back to each other are gone now. And you see Kippa's eyes start to glow. She goes, why? And you have, the roads have been destroyed. There was a war. There's always a war. War is the deadliest child of the living, and its appetites are illimitable. Many came here, your old gods and other kin, because they had no choice. It was flee or die or worse. Kippa's looking sad. She goes, oh, I know what that's like. But no one builds better homes than those who have lost home. And Dracula goes, true words. But to lose home is not something I, a being of supernatural fortitude, would suffer again. You listened well, Fox, which is a virtue my race honors. You and your friend may go. My obedient sentinel will deliver you to the surface. The darkness is no place for you. Hey, wait. Want to be part of this? Yeah. It's not for you either. Or Kippa goes, it's not for you either. Come with us, Lady Dracul. Someone who's traveled the stars shouldn't live so far from the sky. Dracul's silent for a moment before she goes, but I see the sky short-lived being. From here I can gaze upon the sphere entire. And I fear for it as I sense you fear for it too. You have Kippa going, Lady Dracul, pardon me, but I see the bones, old ones, fresh ones, all sizes everywhere. And you're an awfully big secret. Why are you really letting us go? And you see again just the beautiful artwork in the series. And the Dracul goes, our meeting, I suspect, was no accident. When war comes again, there will be no other spheres for any of us to flee to. That is a truth that cannot be forgotten. You have Kippa calling out, Lady Dracul, if the goddess keeps me alive, I promise, I won't forget. The Dracul looks back at her as she goes, see the sky? I would not go back up there. My fucking life depended on it. Too damn dangerous. And we see back in the war room with Micah's father. When the war erupts, we should strike each side. We should strike each side under false flags, bleeding them in turn, deepening the chaos. It's like all well and good, Hoppo, but before deciding a strategic course, should we not discuss the new alliance between the Dusk and Dawn courts? And you have, I thought that was false rumor, Nendestra misinformation. It is not a rumor, Commander Caspian. My sources are exact. This is the first substantive arcanic pact since the schism. The father goes, of little concern. And, God, I have to go back and look at these four commanders' names. And Nagata goes, perhaps Lord Doctor. And the other one goes, still, we should not dismiss this union out of hand. I'm told the Dusk Court gave up their Baroness. The alliance won't last if it lasts. It can't. If the Baroness is amongst them. And you see, perhaps the warlord was fooled. Her spycraft was always weak, but the Queen of Wolves? How could she not know the danger posed by the Baroness? And you see Micah going, this Baroness sure gets around. Who is she? And you have Agata going, the title is fluid, Lady Half-Wolf, passed down from master to apprentice. But the Baroness is above all else a subversive weapon, a secret dragon, assassin, saboteur, diplomat. The doctor goes, best friend, lover. And goes, whomever the Dusk Court needs, the Baroness becomes. Her loyalty to them is unassailable, as is her ruthlessness. If the Baroness is embedded within the Dawn, we should expect an internal upset, a shift in power. The Dusk Court would not have sent her there for less. And you see, let the fools tear each other apart. We should be more concerned with the Federation. Their forces have overwhelming numerical advantage, And the Kumein engineers are no fools. Their weapons have only gotten deadlier. And you have Senestus going, it's not their numerical or technological superiority that worries me. Despite the threat of war, there's a growing sentiment in the Federation for peace with the Arcanic courts. The conflict between those who argue for peace and the Kumeins who only ever clamor for war has become volatile. And you have Valan going, though I am only an observer, might I add that the Federation Navy has quietly ordered most of its fleet out to sea, away from Kumein control. And you see another Arcanic going, and my spies have heard that a secret envoy has been dispatched to Constantine to open negotiations with representatives of the Dusk Court. And Micah goes, the Kumeia have agreed to this? And they go, the Kumeia do not know. And Lord Doctor goes, I assure you there will be no peace between the Federation and the Arcanics. And you have Nagata going, is it Nagata or Agata? Agata going, assurances are easy, Lord Doctor. And he goes, I guarantee it then. And you have Grimm going, and what guarantees are there against the impossible? Doubt it not, my friends, the impossible has happened. An old god, a monstrum, has breached our world, and it was not a god of love or peace. Pontus is in chaos. Countless were driven mad to the point of cannibalism, and the breach lasted mere minutes. The next time it happens, what then? And Micah goes, let me tell you what will happen. If the old god free themselves, there will be no guarantees, no advantage, no conspiracies, no arcanics, no federation. All will be devoured. All. Pontus is the least of our concerns. Some of the old gods are already among us. I've seen them with my own eyes. The Kumean Mother Superior is a host for one of them. Same with the Inquisitrix who came looking for me. I'm sure there's more. They possess people and hide inside their skins. They could be anyone. Who's to say one of you hasn't been possessed? Or an ancient of the Dusk or Dawn courts? They're not here because they enjoy the company either. They want to free the rest of their kind. That's the real war. All this other talk is bullshit. You see all the war leaders just staring at her. As Zagata goes, forgive me, but I've been told you have an old god living beneath your skin. How does that make you different from the Kumein infiltrators? Why wouldn't the old gods inside you conspire with the others to destroy us? And Micah just glares at her. As the doctor goes, nothing my daughter has said is a surprise. I've known of these infiltrators for years and have made a thorough study of them. Be at peace, my friends. None of them are in this room or even in your councils. Even my daughter is free of their control. And for all their storied power, these decrepit relics from the First Age cannot undo what we have set in motion. And Micah goes, you're so wrong. They're stronger than any of us here. Their hunger is bottomless. The doctor goes, so what would you have us do? And she goes, keep the peace as long as possible. I think they want this war. And Agata goes, and then what? Hope they'll go away? And Micah's like, no, I would. Someone would. Doctor's like, peace? Don't be foolish. The war's unavoidable. And she goes, because of people like you. And Doctor goes, no, because of people like you, my dear. And you see as everyone's kind of milling around after the council's over, you have Grimm going, that perhaps didn't go as your father planned, but it was an important conversation. Micah's like, he's not my father. And Grimm and Nagata come up to her and Grimm goes, so said every unhappy daughter ever. Nagata goes, I stabbed mine when I was 10. Sadly, he lived to be a very old man. And Grimm continues, you can detect these imposters, yes? You can tell who is real and who is not? And Micah goes, maybe now. I'd known the signs, but I can't be certain. But didn't your Lord Doctor say that none of you are possessed? Don't you trust a sage all-knowing wisdom? And Nagata goes, as the poets say, victory is a pair of twins named boldness and caution. Give me a second to turn the light on, because it looks like it's getting a little bit darker here. Yeah. I'll flip to the yellow light. There we go. That should be a little bit better now. And Grim continues, or as my mother used to say, careful never killed anyone. And Mike is just like, cautious or scared. Because after Pontus, I'm scared shitless, and nothing the Lord Doctor or any of you have said has made me less scared. Nagata continues, understand, Half-Wolf, that none of us betrayed our oaths lightly. We came to your father individually in our time because of dreams, oracles, portents, all with the same dreadful message. Our world is doomed, and there would be no way forward except through him. No way to survive except through the eye of the Empress. Micah goes, let me know how that works out. And she's like, I'm sure all will know soon enough. And you hear something as Micah's like, what is that? As Agata beckons him closer. And you see, Agata's doing kind of like sign language. And she goes, it's IJ, the silent language. I was telling my colleague something. And you see Micah making a symbol, which is her holding her hand up like this, with the other arm like that. And she goes, does this mean anything to you? And Agata goes, that's from an older system, one of the 5 admonishments. It means trust only blood. Micah's like, what if you hate your family? And Agata goes, don't be too literal with these old languages. The actual meaning is closer to trust only those who bleed for you. And you see Micah going, trust only those who bleed for you, huh? And Grim goes, Lady Half-Wolf, I'm guessing you'll not be at your father's side in the coming war? And Nagata's like, we could use you and the samurais, and the Imuras. And Micah's like, I'm here to find someone and then I'll be on my way. I don't do family or conspiracies. Grim's like, a pity, you show promise. And Agata's like, agreed, I have need of a sword novice. The doctor comes up and goes, War Masters, if I could have a moment with my daughter? And he goes, well, my dear, I hope you found the first council exchange as invigorating as I did. And Micah's like, invigorating my ass. Where's the fox girl and that traitor-ass necromancer spy? And the doctor goes, the fox will be here by nightfall. She is safe as promised. Ren will be close behind you. You'll have much to discuss, I imagine. But I hope you know that finding you was in all our best interests. And Micah goes, Doctor, you should know something. I have a really nasty habit of killing people who try to fuck with me. And the doctor's like, you would harm your own blood? And she kind of swats his hand off her. She goes, fuck with me, doctor, and I'll kill you dead. And the doctor goes, well, daughter, you should know something about me. I don't hurt my family. Not anymore. You see Kippa taking off, being led out of the cavern by one of the cronies of the Dracul. As Kippa goes, Miss Monster, that Lady Dracul said you're not to hurt us, right? Well, I could use a favor if you don't mind. And she goes, could you not let her off the boat right away? As she points to Yafiela. Yafiella's like, what? And you see Kippa leaping off board. You see Kippa leaping off board. She takes off with a thank you. And you see the monster just holding Yafiela back, being like, Fox, come back! Swords and spears, I'm gonna kill you. And you see Kippa climbing up a rock into this jungle. She goes, the crow must be nearby. The blood, So she's spying on what looks like Arcanix. I'm not sure. As they're going, the crow must be nearby. The blood trail is still fresh. Remember, no mercy. All we need to bring back are his weapons. And Kippa's hiding behind this rock. She goes, the crow? Oh no. And she sees Corvin, beaten and bloody. She goes, Lord Corvin. And he goes, Kippa? It's like, what are you? He goes, never mind, just run. Soldiers, hunting me. Kippa's like, I saw them, they're close. She goes, stay here, please. I'll lead them away. And she kind of covers them up with some branches to hide them. And we go back to Micah, who goes, wake up, Zin, don't pretend, not now. She goes, no, never mind, fuck you, stay asleep forever. And you see that she smashed the portraits, holding the pictures, and taking the pictures inside them with her. As you have, where are you? I know you're there, but I can't hear you. Why can't I hear that damned song? And you have Yvette coming up behind her going, it's gone for me too. It's an emptiness, the ravenous snap, the booming hunger, all gone. I would give up all my terrible strength for the barest hint of that song, for my beloved's voice, beyond my wildest dreams. The silence began the moment the doctor took the mass fragments into his lab. He must have a baffler screen, something very ancient. I would so like to see the mask again, but I've been warned so that should I set even 1 foot upon those stairs, my head will be hacked to pieces and my body burned to ash. And you see Yvette just trying to congenially smile at Maiko, who's not having any of it. And she's like, not a single word for me? You were quite garrulous in Zamora, filled with so many burning questions. I confess, I was expecting you to search me out now that you know I'm alive. Maiko just kind of turns her back on her and starts walking away. As she goes, I wasted years looking for you. I wanted answers and I wanted you to pay for what you did to me and my mother. I thought that would free me. In my dreams, I still can't kill you enough. But I don't want to waste any more time on you, not 1 second. You aren't worth it. And Yvette goes, and yet I still have the answers you seek. It was an accident that night in the desert. We only had 2 sections of the mask. We didn't think that would be enough to open a door. We didn't know anything would come through. And we didn't know you had the blood. Moriko never told us. She'd chosen a child, a victim from our experiments. In the chaos that followed, she burned the child's body to make us think you were dead. And you see, Yvette continues, Moriko should have saved herself. And you see Maiko going to the top, tears coming down her eyes as she slams her fist into the wall. You have the doctor coming up and going, do not trouble yourself over old stories from a demented witch. And Maiko goes, I'd be less troubled if I remembered more. Those photos of us, I was at least 2 or 3 years old. The doctor goes, you were 2. Soon after your mother stole you from me. She and I had irreconcilable differences concerning how you should be raised. And Maiko's like, maybe she was afraid you'd change your mind and kill me, just to see if the old god returned to you. The doctor goes, is that what you think I have planned for you now? And she goes, I'm sure it's crossed your mind. And he goes, in the past I might have considered it, but I've learned to value family above all else. And he goes, welcome to my sanctum, daughter. As he opens the door, and you see just this sprawling city laid out in front of her. She goes, God is what? And he goes, it is a dream, a recorded memory. I found the technology many years ago in one of the Shaman Empress's laboratories. You are witnessing the ancients in their primal youth, living in one of their lost cities. I like to watch it sometimes for inspiration. And you see him slamming on a button to turn it off. And he goes, we used to live among the stars. We once harnessed the power of singularities and even defied time. How far we have fallen. And he sees this elaborate machinery in front of her, and Micah sees this elaborate coffin-looking machine in front of her. As she goes, this was used by the Dust Court to imprison me. And he goes, I assure you it isn't the same sarcophagus and it is not for you. This one is already burned out. Sadly, they can only be used once. Come, I have your belongings. And as Micah comes up to the desk, she sees the mask fragments, goes, those mask fragments need to be destroyed. This war you're preparing won't mean 2 shits if the old gods get free. And he goes, and yet it has not escaped me that you have worried more about the fox child than about the mask. And you see him putting on some gloves. As he goes, I was frankly even more astonished that you would let the pieces out of your grasp. I find your disinterest in our inheritance distressing. Your mother sacrificed absolutely everything to secure these artifacts, and here you are, unconsciously or not, trying to spurn what she's bequeathed you. As the poets say, it is the curse of the young to squander what their elders died to possess. And he continues, the mask can only be destroyed when it is assembled, but I would do no such thing even if I had the opportunity. As I promised, however, the fragments are yours to dispose of as you will. Take them, though. I suspect in your deepest heart you would rather leave them here with me. Micah's like, it's true. I am ambivalent. But what the fuck is that dog doing here? And you see the dog that belonged to the Inquisitrix that created the whole incident in the last volume. As the doctor goes, oh, didn't I say I was studying the infiltrators? A very exhaustive study indeed. And you see her just bound up in one of those tubes. As we get to chapter 23, I think this is the last one. And we shall endeavor to finish. And you see Kippa running away from the two guards as they're chasing, going, you won't be hurt, I promise, stop running. And you see a whack as a coil of whip wraps around one of their legs and flips them down. And Kippa's like, get away from me! And she uses the torch to kind of slam into the guard. And when the guard grabs her and slams her down, he goes, hold her! Where are the fucking ropes? And you see, rah! Sorry, I thought this dude tried to be doing yelling like that. As an infuriated Ren comes up and starts slashing at them and frees Kippa. And you see Kippa whacking the other one with the torch to knock him out. And you see Ren just going bloody and furious, ripping out the throat. He goes, ha, ha. And he goes, Ubasti, I really let myself go. And you see Kippa going, Master Ren. They both kind of put their heads down and start crying. And you see back in the laboratory, Micah's wandering around seeing all these different tanks with the infiltrators in them. And you see her father's kind of stripped down out of his shirt. He looks like he's meditating. And Micah goes, what are you doing? And he goes, meditating, reviewing my recessed memories. An indispensable skill for one such as we who have so much buried deep inside. We cannot afford secrets from ourselves, daughter. You should let me teach you. And Mike is just like, my arm doesn't come off. And he goes, because you would discard it. And she goes, because I didn't want a new limb. Just like I don't want lessons from you. Answers, on the other hand, I do want. Such as what you're doing in there with her. And the doctor goes, I'm learning, daughter. I've confirmed that these creatures are capable of a vast telepathic reach. One that I believe is more easily facilitated through the mask. Yvette Low Limb and her unnatural connection to the fragment in your possession is a most useful example of that telepathy. Fortunately, I suspect the same field I deployed to shield the mask from Yvette and other seekers also isolates this subject from the rest of her kind. You have Micah going, those tubes coming out of her body. Looks like you're draining her blood. And he goes, an experiment. Humans have long harvested arcanic bodies for useful purposes. Why not seek to do the same to the old gods? Micah's like, huh. And he goes, this troubles you. Micah's like, imprisonment, torture, medical experiments on people? Yeah, call me troubled. And he goes, this thing is not a person by even the most generous definition of the term. It has no real agency, only the illusion of one to better fool its adversaries. It is more of a mechanism, a cunning and dangerous mechanism, but one that can be tamed. You should waste no compassion on it. The Kumeya don't think we're people either, old man. They say we don't have souls. And Doctor goes, we can quibble ethics all day, daughter, but there can be no denying that we are on the brink of war. A war that will be decided by intelligence. I do not intend to lose that war because of a frailty of conscience. And you see, as you're sitting down to have some tea and soup, Micah's like, you even sound like the Kumeya. I was once imprisoned in one of their labs. This looks a lot like that place. And Doctor goes, resemblances do not concern me. I will borrow techniques from anyone, friend or foe. Only poor craftsmen deny themselves a tool simply because it was used by someone they despise. And he goes, earlier, daughter, you attempted to edify me on your nature. Please allow me to edify you on mine. I am no normal being. I have spent hundreds of years as a vessel of what an unscientific mind would call a god. You are young. You have sentimental impulses. Outside of my loyalty to my family, I have no such frailties. For centuries, I've bent all my formidable talents to one goal, restoring the lost glories of our ancestors. I will return our race to the stars. And you see Micah just kind of grimacing. She goes, "Stars, glorious ancestors? What a laugh. You want what all old, powerful, vain people want, to become a god." And he goes, "For a mortal to aspire to godhood is vanity. For one such as we, it is destiny." And Micah's going, "The stew tastes familiar. I had some earlier. What's in it?" Oh boy. And as he's eating it, he goes, "I think you already know, daughter." And Micah kind of just abruptly stands up from the table, turns around, and goes to the fireplace. As you see the cat dumping out a bunch of arms and other body bits, and Micah just throws up with a "hooah!" And he comes back to the table with a knife, and he goes, "A man as old as I am has many names, a name for each of my faces. Here now I am the Lord Doctor, but in the popular presses of our more advanced cities I've acquired another name, a name no one would ever associate with the genteel figure before you. The Ghoul Killer. Perhaps you've heard of him." Micah's like, "The cannibal murderer. That's you." And she takes the sword and stabs into the bowl, and he goes, "And you. Every blessing has a price, daughter." And you see Micah just going outside and just kind of furious and sad. And you see, thinking back to child Micah with Ren, who goes, I'm not hurting her the least, Moriko. Surely you're just as curious about her potential and what might be gained from giving her the benefits of the education that I did not receive. What I am, I had to learn on my own." And you see Moriko going, "Her potential can't be measured by instruments, and what she is, who she is to become, should be her own choice, not yours." And Doctor goes, "Do not lie, my darling. You wish to mold our daughter in your image, as much as I wish her to reflect mine. She might be your wolf, but she is my monster." And you see Micah going, "Oh goddess, I remember." And you see Doctor calling to her, "Micah!" And she goes, "Go away." And he goes, "You cannot run from this now. You cannot run from this. You know that, daughter." And she goes, I'm starved, old man. In the death camps of the Federation, I withered down to almost nothing. That agony nearly broke me. But this hunger, this is worse." And he goes, "Only if you deny it." And Micah's like, "I can't become what the hunger wants me to be. I won't." And he goes, "You already have. Do not punish yourself over such a natural impulse. When I was your age, I found the hunger as terrible and frightening as you do now. I hurt friends, family, I even ate them. The prudent ones fled from me. But in time, I learned it was better that way. Better to accept what I was if I wanted to survive and be strong. So I embraced the hunger, fully. I accepted my nature." And he goes, "Fact, you haven't eaten in days, the kind of eating your blood requires. I can tell you are weak and growing weaker. Do you even have a plan for how and when you will next eat? Or do you just let the hunger force you so you don't have to accept responsibility?" And Micah's like, "There has to be another way. Eating animals." And he goes, "It is not the same. I have tried again and again. Ask a wolf to survive on radishes. Ask an eagle to thrive on leaves. They are not made for it, nor are we. You know it is the truth, daughter. I speak from experience. This avoidance is how you end up eating the people close to you. You may find my habits unseemingly, but at least I am mindful." And he goes, "But what if I told you I could end your hunger, though it means separating yourself from the old god and returning it to me?" Micah's like, "Oh, what a surprise." And he goes, "A father only wants his daughter to be happy." Micah's like, "Such fucking bullshit. This was your plan all along." He goes, "Not at all. I've offered reluctantly at that. Nor will I force you. This is your choice. And I confess I don't even know if it would work. But you wouldn't be worse off if it didn't." And Micah goes, "Let's say it does. You're in for a world of disappointment. The old god in me will never share its strength with anyone." And he goes, it seems to have shared it with you. Power serves those with the strength to seize it. And she goes, you really don't understand, do you? You said you tasted his dreams, but it never woke up for you. The one inside me bends its knee to no one. And he goes, it won't have a choice. It's just another mechanism to be mastered. And Micah goes, all this time I've been here, you've never asked to look at the old god inside me. You must be dying to see it. This thing, this power that was yours, must be eating you up. The doctor goes, not as much as it's eaten you, I think. You are very young, my daughter. I lived with the old god in his dreams for 500 years before it passed to you. If you think I don't know it well, if you think I don't know its darkest secrets, then you are sadly mistaken. Micah's like, you think you can control it? That tells me how little you know. And he goes, my dear, I don't think it. I know it. I know it because it's been done before. I have seen it in the old god's dreams. The old god was not its own master when it came to this world. The shaman empress made certain of that. She was no fool to let such power control her. And she took from the old god what she wanted. She enforced her rights against it, again and again. And you hear, zzz, Lord Doctor, you're needed. Zzz, the Waveport representative will soon leave. And he goes, this won't take long, daughter. You can stay here and reflect on what we've discussed. And Michael's like, am I just another anomaly, another mechanism to be mastered? And he goes, no. Unlike the creature down below in my lab, whose personhood has been completely absorbed, you are still the master, and the old god is your slave. And as he leaves, you see the tiny dog coming up behind Micah, and she kind of kneels and looks at it for a second before turning away with the dog at her heels. And she goes back into her father's office and grabs her claw weapon. And you hear, oh goddess, what an extraordinary laboratory. I'd heard rumors of this doctor, but clearly they understated the scope of his research and power. I'm truly impressed. And you see one of the foot soldiers rifling through the documents. As Micah goes, who are you? And you see the illusion fading away as Vin reveals herself and goes, I sometimes ask myself that same question, and I'm always delighted with the answer. You're Vin? What the fuck? And Vin goes, Ren disclosed some of what you'd find here. In the spirit of complete self-interest, I came to help. You and I have unfinished business. And Micah goes, get in line. Have you seen Kippa? And Vin goes, she's safe, not far away. But in a lab this advanced, I suspect there are sensors recording our every move. If we wish to leave, it should be as soon as... And Micah goes, no. And Vin's like, so you do wish to stay with your father. Ren thought that might be a possibility. And Micah's like, no again. I have something else I need to do. Follow me. And Vin's like, alas, I've never been much of a follower. And as she sees the tubes at the end, as you see the tubes with the Inquisitrix inside, Vin's like, gasp, how? And Micah's like, Vin, hurry up, help me free here. And she's taking her claw up and just starting to completely destroy the tubes. And Vin's like, wait, what are you doing? This is the creature who helped release the old gods. And Micah goes, no shit, the old man's experimenting on her. Vin's like, I would too if I had this marvelous machine. Look at this, he's been extracting blood from her, but these aren't normal tanks. He's processing it as a power source perhaps, but how would he know the method when the Shaman Empress told no one? And Micah's like, Vin, damn it, help me. We don't have time. And you hear, just kill me before he comes back. As Micah's grabbed her out of the tube as she's broken it open, she goes, shut up and try to stand. And you see the doctor coming back as he goes, daughter, perhaps an explanation and an introduction? And you have Vin going, Lord Doctor, it's a pleasure to be in your illustrious presence. I am Vin, the High Engineer of Pontus End. And you have the doctor going, and we've met before, though never formally. 300 years ago, give or take a decade, at the opening of the Great Library in Damarung. And he goes off to the side and just flips his little switch. And he goes, you're wearing a different skin that night. though your true radiance is unchanging. And you see the illusion starting to come apart. And Micah's just getting mad. She goes, oh, fuck me. I do not have time for this shit. And the doctor's like, such interesting company you keep, daughter. And she goes, you said I'm free to go. And he says, with what you came with, yes. Though it grieves me to part with you so soon. There's so much for me to tell you, even if you don't hear a word. And Micah goes, I hear everything you say. And he goes, then understand you are no match for me. You are famished while I have only recently fed. And if you fight, you will have to feed when it's over. And you know how distasteful you find that. Micah's like, I don't want to fight you, but I'm leaving with your prisoner and Vin, whoever that bitch is. Micah tries to throw a punch at him, and he just kind of starts slowly, casually dodging out of the way with some simple movements. And every time she tries to kick or punch him, she just starts gently kind of deflecting it. And he goes, please, let's stop this foolishness before someone gets hurt. And he grabs her and slams her into the ground. He goes, dear daughter, did your mother teach you that anything that doesn't involve violence? Just wanted to show off. Sequence of that. And Micah goes, of course she did, but I like hitting things. As she grabs the Rand up to have him help her up, he goes, And she goes, you say you're my father? And he goes, I am. And she goes, well then, father, I demand a daughter's prerogative. I want you to give me your prisoner. And he goes, I see. And you'll be disappointed if I deny you? And she goes, deeply. He gives her a calculating look. And he goes, you may take the creature. It will try to kill you, I promise you that. Perhaps then you won't feel remorse when you're forced to devour her. And she goes, thank you, father. And he goes, daughter, I am pleased beyond words that you acknowledge our bond. And now I wish to claim a father's prerogative. Show me the old god. And you have Vin going, half-wolf, I would not advise it. This laboratory is recording. And she goes, maybe next time, father. And he goes, dearest daughter, I must insist. And he says something in an ancient language as Micah's like, what the? And Zin comes exploding out of her arms. She screams, no! And you see Zin going, who dares? And as Doctor's staring at it, he goes, how curious. I imagined you would be magnificently colossal, but I suppose you've forgotten what that feels like. And as Zin's staring at Doctor, he goes, you. Micah goes, we should go now. He goes, I'm honored you heeded the call of your old master. And you see Zin making some claws out of his arms. He goes, never again. And Doctor again whispers something in the ancient language. As he goes, it's like my limbs. And Doctor goes, you cannot hurt me, Zin. I uncovered the secret of your beloved's control. You gave it to me yourself in your dreams. Zin's like, no, there is no such thing. And Doctor goes, I have you to thank, daughter. It wasn't until the old god passed to you that I was able to finally learn the secrets it had left behind in my dreams. All those years, it blocked them from me. He goes, or maybe the old god was blocking the memories from itself. So afraid to remember your betrayals, you split yourself in two. But I know why you killed the Shaman Empress, and I know the name of the one who conspired with you. And he says, Miriam. And Vin goes, oh no. And Zin's like, I do not know. I do not know that name. And Micah's like, come on, you bastard, move. And you see Doctor just smiling as he goes, you cannot lie to yourself forever, Zin. They won't let you, will they? And you see an image of what I assume is Miriam and the Shaman Empress. As you have Zin! It kind of just collapses, and Micah's like, what the fuck have you done? And the father, still smiling, goes, finally you care about your inheritance. I am delighted. You should go back to your room. After you've rested and composed yourself, we can discuss what happened. And Micah's like, I'm leaving, unless you've changed your mind and I'm actually a prisoner. And he goes, no daughter of mine should be possessed, least of all by me. But consider my offer, Micah. I can free you. Perhaps when we meet again you will have changed your mind. Until then, may you eat well. We get to chapter 24. As we see, this is the Arcanic. Take what's left of the Grey Riders, activate your most elite trackers, and bring me Micah Halfwolf. Alive, no exceptions. You see the Warlord going out instructions to her riders as they go, my Warlord, what are the reports out of the Pontus and Theria? Should we not be sending troops to reinforce? And she comes up and grabs the soldier by the throat and goes, I don't give a shit about Pontus or old gods or a murdered queen. What I want is the half-wolf. And you hear Tuya coming up to him going, dearest Warlord, you should never reveal such heated interest in anyone. It implies a weakness. The Warlord goes, I have no time for games, wife. I must pursue every advantage. And Tuya goes, and what advantage would this half-wolf give you? She's only your niece, I've heard. And she goes, it's none of your business. And Tuya says, isn't it? I did not enter this marriage to be nothing but your bedmate. And the Warlord goes, you want troops? Weapons? It's all been negotiated. And Tuya goes, no, that's what the Dust Court wants. I, the Baroness, want a command. I want my own troops. Specifically, I want your air fleet. And you see the Warlord going, you personally want my fleet. And the Tuya goes, the full fleet would do nicely, but I'll understand if you only give me command over half of them. You certainly need the help. You've managed to keep it a secret thus far, but my spies tell me your top commanders have abandoned you for some mysterious... A Warlord just slaps her in the face as you go, shut your hole. How dare you even think to ask for my ships? The Baroness? You believe that title means anything here? You're a Dust Court puppet. A fripper used by a weak court for weak ends. You are no one. And you see a shrimp as Tuya's hawk comes in and claws at the Warlord's face. And he's like, aye! And Tuya goes, you play the great warrior, but the only reason Arcanics aren't in chains is because of Constantine. You know it, so do the ancients. Your army is still recovering from the last war. Your spies are controlled by your mother. Your most valued warriors have abandoned you. And the ancients will never give you the support you truly need. This war will be the same as the last. Our elders will throw arcanic bodies under the blades and bombs and chemicals of the Federation while they hide themselves in perfect safety. Win or lose, humans will never be able to touch them. So it is up to us. We must fight for ourselves. And as you said, pursue every advantage, even the ones we find most distasteful. Accept the help I can give you. Invite me into your command circle. I have more resources than you. I certainly have better spies. The Warlord goes, crazy bitch, I don't even trust you. I should kill you just for being alive. And Tuya goes, what you should really do is kill yourself for being such a predictable bore. But you remind me of someone I used to know. I'll do you a favor as a gesture of goodwill. Your spies have been ordered not to tell you where your elite commanders have defected to. But I know. They've gone to the Blood Court. You won't heard of that either, I suspect. Make inquiries if you must, but be careful with whom you speak, wife. Be very careful. And you see Micah waking up again in her dream state as she hears Little Wolf. And she goes, Mother, the old man had forgotten him, erased him so that I never even imagined him. He didn't matter. And now I've met him, and he terrifies me. And Morika goes, what did I teach you, daughter? Fear is either a weapon or it is useless. Remember, your father does not know as much as he thinks he does about you or Zin. And you see Zin kind of just despairing as he's kneeling in the throne. He goes, beloved, it is a mistake. I did not. I would never. It's like never. And Moriko brings Micah up to them and kind of clasps their hands together and goes, your futures are not written, but they will be, either to great benediction or even greater tribulation. And you see Micah wiping with, it's like, mother. It's like, what happened? Ooh, and you see her just surrounded by an army of corpses. The Inquisitrix wakes up and says, "You happened. The ancient left to go fetch your friends, and soldiers came upon us. Their only orders were to find you and wait upon your wishes. Your wishes were to feed. I shared in the bounty." And Micah goes, "He knew that would happen. He knew." The Inquisitrix goes, "What a thoughtful father." And Micah's just getting furious and sad. And she goes, "No, it's not true. It's not." And you see her throwing up as the Inquisitrix goes, a waste. And Micah's like, "Shut up, or better yet, kill me. Zin seems to be out of his mind, and I don't care anymore." Inquisitrix goes, "You care. Enough to save me twice, and for that I owe you a life, perhaps more. You will not die by my hand, Micah half-wolf." And Micah goes, "But you won't help me against your kind, will you? At least tell me how many of you there are." And she goes, "The Mother Superior still lives despite your best efforts, and there are 2 others." And she goes, "You're right. I'm not so disloyal as to share our plans, but your odds are long. Not simply because of my kind either. Your father, half-wolf. I fear you more for knowing what made you." And Micah goes, "He didn't make me, my mother did, and I always bet on her." And she looks at her and goes, "Why are you still here anyway? Go home to the rest of your kind and your plans to kill us all. Good fucking luck." The Inquisitrix comes up next to her and says, "Save your luck." And she kind of grabs Micah and plants a kiss on her surprised face. And then she whispers something to her before she takes off. And Micah starts kind of tearing up and gagging as she tries to force herself to vomit. And she goes, "Zin, are you hurt? Talk to me." And he goes, "When the old man said that name," he thinks back to when he saw, was it Mari? Who was it? Give me a second. Oh, Miriam and the Shaman Empress. They go, "The truth isn't that terrible, is it? You'll make the same mistake again if you... Though I'm disappointed you worked so hard to forget me, Zin. We'll have to fix that, won't we?" And you see Zin kind of trying to losing it. I go, "Zin, what's wrong? Why aren't you speaking?" And she kind of gives him a hug and goes, "We're both fucked, okay? Okay?" And you see her father in his room, kind of taking off his mechanical legs as he's kind of polishing them and working on them. And you hear him hearing reports of the radio of the 2nd of Stars reporting. "Are you receiving? 1st of Stars receives. What of your mission? The boon was delivered. You have nothing to worry about." And you have the doctor going, "I do not worry, daughter. I master." Shit. Oh boy. And you see, "I take it then my sister showed herself?" And the doctor goes, "She did. She is a most subtle study." And she goes, "You should have killed her, father. She's too dangerous. I could track her." And he goes, "Softly, daughter. I have learned much about her that we did not know before. Much that was hidden even from the ancient lore masters is now plain. I wish to observe her a little longer. Her hunger is growing. It will soon become unbearable to her. Given enough time, she might even willingly give us what we need." And then the voice on the radio says, "And if she doesn't?" And she goes, "Father?" And you see him looking at pictures of the warlord, of the 2 scheming politicians from the Federation, of Micah and a bunch of others, and the Wolf Queen. And you see back with Micah and Zin, she goes, "I killed, I ate, I remember nothing except the taste. The old man was right about one thing. I can't keep running from my hunger. I just don't know what to do. What am I living for if I eat people to survive?" And as she's wandering through this forest, she comes upon Kippa, who's still adorably kind of holding her tail, and they stare at each other. As they come closer, and Kippa goes, "I knew you would come, miss." Micah kind of just reaches out to her with her hand. She goes, "You've grown." And Kippa just kind of throws herself into Micah for a hug. And you have, is there anything more heartwarming than a reunion? And you see Zin and Corvin calling behind And Zin goes, but I advise we convey ourselves as far from here as possible and quickly. Your father's hospitality has its limits, Micah Half-Wolf. And Micah goes, my trust has its limits too, Vin, or whoever you are. She goes, and Corvin, what the fuck happened? And he goes, your father happened. Fortunately, I'm not so easy to murder. And you see behind a tree behind you see Ren just kind of peeking out nervously. And Micah's, you cat bastard, I'm going to kill you. And you have Kippa, Corvin, and Vin all holding her back. It's like, miss, no. Like, Lady Half-Wolf. She goes, break every bone in your tails. And Vin's like, well, that was elevating. Yes, shall we move along? You see them later that night sitting around a campfire. As Kippa goes, Master Ren, why'd you do it? And Micah just kind of throws a cup at him. She goes, because he's a fucking traitor. And Kippa's like, miss, you should let him talk. And Micah's like, he betrayed you too. And she's like, but Master Ren also tried to stop the ones who took me. He tried, miss. I can't abandon people because they make mistakes. I would have to abandon myself. And you see them all just staring at Ren, who's kind of just looking off to the side. He goes, even before you were born, we cats watched the Shaman Empress's bloodline and your mother. Some of Ubasti's prophets believed Moriko Half-Wolf had the power to change the world. There was quite the stir when those two interests merged in her pregnancy. As soon as we learned Moriko was pregnant, I was assigned to your father's home. And you see Moriko just holding a blade up to Ren. And he has long been aware of our interests. I took care of you until Moriko spirited you away. Your father thought it helped her, but after many long conversations, I was able to convince him otherwise, and he demanded certain loyalties from me. After your disappearance, I was sent back to the Dust Court. I served in the war. And then years later, I was asked by my elders to resume my duties observing your bloodline. And said, you'd been found again. You see Micah going, my father called you his loyal servant. And Ren goes, that's all done now. He surely knows I defied his command to deliver Kippa. I made my choice and he'll kill me for it. And Micah goes, but that's not where it ends. You betrayed me to the Dust Court all those months ago. You delivered me to that Baroness. And Corvin goes, I've kept some of the Necromancer's secrets as well, Lady Half-Wolf. You were too great a threat, so the Baroness personally negotiated Ren's help to trap you. I realize now she must have known something of his past with you. And Ren goes, my debt to the Baroness is paid. The Dust Court no longer has a hold over me. No one does. And Micah goes, that's not true. You owe me now, cat. And he's like, what would you have me do? Kill myself? She's like, that would be a start. And Vin goes, in the old days, cats would sever their tails in penance. But let's leave talk of murder and amputation for another day and turn to the practical. Namely, what are we to do next? The war. And Micah goes, fuck the war. The Federation and the Arcanics are going to destroy each other, but if they have a fucking brain between them, they'd be prepared for something worse. You would think an old god leveling Pontus would wake them up. And Corvin goes, and you're certain they won't listen, Half-Wolf? The destruction of Pontus only happened days ago. Word might have spread. And Micah goes, when I was among the old man's war masters, I heard an attempt was being made in Constantine to broker a secret peace between the Federation and the courts. But it's not going to work. The Kumeya have been infiltrated by agents of the old gods. And she goes, I need to reassemble this fucking mask and then destroy it. That's the only way to stop them from coming through forever. And Min goes, not exactly forever, but let's not quibble over millennia. Kippa goes, miss, if there's any chance of peace between the Federation and Arcanians, we have to take it. And if there's any way to stop the old gods, we have to do that too. There's nothing else between the stars except us. We all have to live together, whether we're people or gods or monsters or Draculs. This world is all we have. And Lynn's like, how did Draculs get into this? And she goes, we don't have to be friends. We just have to remember that if this world dies, we all die. Even if no one else understands that, we at least do. And that means we have to do whatever it takes to stop this war. Even if it means making peace with those who hurt us and betray us. I've always prided myself in having no regard for. Oh, sorry, it's Vin going. I've always prided myself in having no regard for the youth or their opinions, but adversity has made little Fox wise. And Ren goes, Half Wolf, there is one more thing. The Baroness. And Micah's like, I don't want to hear any more of your bullshit. And you see Cupid's going, as her eyes go golden again. And Micah's like, Little Fox, your eyes. As she imagines what Micah looks like. And Kippa goes, I'm growing up, miss. My arcana gifts are coming to me. I think it's some kind of sight. Micah's like, what did you see just now? And Kippa's like, just you, miss. And then you see Vin going, the sight you say? Or perhaps something deeper. And you see Kippa also seeing the ancient in her full glory. And she's like, what are you? Micah's like, an ancient in disguise. And Kippa's like, no, she's more. She has stars under her skin. She's not from this world. And Vin goes, if you can see that child, then you are more than simply gifted. In the age of magic, the Fox possessed gifts that even their ancient progenitors envied. Perhaps all these months spent in such close proximity to an old god has awakened those older powers. And you have Kippa going, please don't change the subject, Miss Vin. What are you doing here with us? And Vin goes, I thought it was obvious. I want something from the half-wolf, but then so does everyone. I don't want her dead, though. I give you my word, so please be at ease. And Micah's like, oh, I'm not even a little. And then Vin kind of just bops on one of Zin's tentacles and goes, in the meantime, our Lord of Endless Shadows appears to have suffered something of a blow. Concerning, no? And Micah's like, Zin will have to get over it. What have you been looking at? And Vin goes, plans I stole from your father's lab. Kippa's like, this looks like a weapon, miss, a big one. And Vin's like, the Fox is right. I suspect he was siphoning infernal energy from the captured old god to fuel it. Okay, and Micah's like, that's not good. It's like, your father said nothing of this? And she's like, the only thing he talked about was his plan to return to the stars. I thought he was crazy. And Kippa's like, we're all the Fox refugees who left Pontus. And you see Micah going, probably in each other's stomachs. And Vin goes, when I left Pontus, word had it that most went over the mount toward Ravenna. Micah's like, sleep, little fox. We can talk more about this tomorrow. There's a lot to decide. As you're kind of glaring at Ren, who's still kind of hiding behind a tree. As Micah closes her eyes and she hears Zin calling, child. She goes, Zin, I'm here. And you see her in the dream world as they're standing in the background. They're standing in the foreground. In the background behind you see this giant explosion. And she goes, what is that? And Zin goes, it is coming, destruction. Micah's like, you decided to start talking again? He goes, here I can speak. But something happened to me in the world. Micah's like, was it the old man? And he goes, it is no use trying to deny it. He is indeed your father. I wore him for long years while I slept, and he has learned what I can barely recall. He has untethered me. You see, Micah going, you need to pull it together, Zin. Shit is about to get bad. We're going to need each other if we're going to get through this. Gull told me where the next mask fragment is. Should I believe her? And Zin goes, they would not lie. And she goes, it's in Federation territory, which is a problem. And Zin goes, if my sister or brother told you where it is, then the others already have it. Which means you must not, for any reason, wear the fragments in your possession. It will open us to danger. And Micah's like, we're already in danger. I need that third fragment. And he goes, and they need what you have. Do not make it easier for them. With a piece of the mask in their grasp, the dangers to us multiply exponentially. And you see the Federation, the Holy City of Arum, all describe the same thing. A monster emerged and destroyed the city of Pontus. We have heliostats and multiple eyewitness accounts. This was no hallucination. All these years I've been warning you about the Monstra. What destroyed Constantine was no mere bomb. Like Lady Sophia, the Monstra are not harmless aberrations, and the Arcanics have mastered some control over them. Clearly what happened in Pontus was an experiment gone wrong, but it shows they plan to unleash those demons upon the Federation. It was Lady Sophia, you will be silent on this matter. We did not come here to discuss fantastical rumors. And you hear all that matters is your work on the resurrection formula. There isn't enough Lilium in the world to bring back the human race back to life if those monsters enter this world. Why won't you listen? And you hear, Sweet Miriam, what? It's like, no, not again, not again, not again. The catacombs, run, all of you! The hell? And you see just an absolute giant explosion taking off. And you see Michael waking with a start, goes, gasp. And you see Aiya's Gull wakes up also screaming. And you see, Prime Minister, we've lost all communication with the holy city of Aram. And you see Atina going, oh, Miriam, no. And Reset goes, Atina, tell me that isn't what I think it is. And you hear, it's the worst of all our fears. And you see Dawncourt days later, and you see the Warlord just looking over a fleet of battle airships. And she goes, Arcanics are being blamed for the Aram bomb. And Tuya goes, the courts are being blamed, you mean? And the court nobles are blaming you. They believe you attacked without provocation. The ancients will certainly use this as an excuse to demote you. Too bad you don't have any friends with deep influence in the Dust Court. And they kind of just stare off at each other as the Warlord goes, you were right about this Blood Court. Tuya's like, naturally. And you have Warlord, we have initial reports from Aram. It's like, the Federation army is mobilizing, I want the fleet in the air in an hour. And she looks at Tuya and goes, you need to disembark. And Tuya goes, oh, you didn't hear? I'm coming with you. I have business in the west. The Warlord goes, what business? Tuya goes, I'm going to negotiate a peace treaty with the Federation. The Warlord's like, peace? We're flying to war, you fool. And Tuya goes, you wager on war, I'll wager on peace. Let's see who wins, dear wife. The Warlord puts on her mask as she turns away and goes, you're even crazier than I thought. And the Samurai Cat goes, this is too dangerous. If she discovers... Oh, Tano, that's his name. Tuya goes, Tano, you must fly ahead of me. Take my personal swift. Find Corvin. He knows what to do. And you see the Warlord taking her forces, heading to war, as you get to be continued. Whew. Alright. That was a very long reaction. It's almost coming up on 2 hours. Still, Monstress continues to be an exceptional piece of writing and art and media. I don't think I have too much to say about this specific volume because this was very plot heavy compared to most of the previous volumes, where we're kind of seeing the fallout from one of the monsters having come through into the world through the Inquisitrix goal last volume, and kind of dealing with the fallout of that and everything else that happened. We did get a little bit more background on Kippa and Gull, and Corvin. The former of which seems to like she's going to have to play an important role in the proceedings going forward. And we finally got to meet Micah's father, and he is as shady and as mysterious as we expected. I almost thought for a second reading this that he wasn't the ghoul and that was someone else and he was just kind of helping him butcher him, but I suppose it makes sense with Micah having eaten the demon, or Micah using the demon to eat people, that the father would have done something similar. So I'm intrigued to see how all of this is going to be playing out in the next arc or in the next volume, because I highly suspect that the Doctor was the one that planted the bomb to kind of prevent trade negotiations and the Allies and everything else. Tuya also continues to remain a mystery as to what her true goals and aims are, and what grudge she potentially holds against Micah from what happened to Constantine. But again, character designs were absolutely phenomenal. Art design was also absolutely phenomenal. I'll probably post a few of my favorite panels and scenes to Twitter a little bit later. But it has been a very long time. This has been a long review. Until next time, this is Ash. I will talk to you all later.